Hey, it's Brittni from Highbrow. I'm here with Nico from Revive, and we're here to talk about laser tattoo removal. Okay, so one of the biggest things that I get all the time is when is laser removal necessary or needed before I can do any new permanent makeup on your brows, your liner, or your lips?
So it really depends on color. Color is a big factor as far as what wavelength that we use, the richness of the color, how new the color is, how faded the color is. So there are various factors with the tattoo removal or pigmentation removal from permanent makeup.
Correct.
All the areas that you touched on, which were brows, and you said liner and lips. As far as permanent makeup goes, we have to be extra cautious about liner areas. Now, the wing areas is probably an option away from the eye, that we can get the eye shielded enough to get rid of some of that discoloration. And as far as the lips go, that little tender vascular area, we want to establish the border area that might have gone outside of your lip line, so we can minimize that discoloration and get your lips looking back to normal, where you can emphasize them more evenly.
When we're talking about the wing or the lip, it's really when it's migrated or it's outside of the area that it should be, because I can't correct permanent makeup by putting more permanent makeup on it. Sometimes it needs to be removed.
Yes, and that's a huge factor, especially with colors that linger after the work has been done and after it has faded, and also shape. Your perfectionism with shape is astounding, and she does a great job at getting the proper shape for the shape of your own face. So sometimes in previous treatments, you may not have gotten as good of a shape in your eyebrow area that you could have had.
When it comes to brows and having to do laser, it's absolutely necessary if they are not symmetrical to each other. Maybe different shapes, one is squared, one is rounded, or they're a really, really dark saturated color and they look charcoal, blue, green, lavender, red, orange, and I'm sure you've seen them all too. Right?
Seen them all.
There's some colors that I can cover up that are, if they're really light, but those really vibrant colors, I can't, and that's when Nico definitely takes the lead.
Yeah, and depending on the color that is saturated into your skin that has lingered, sometimes we get a lot of reds, not just the ashy, brown, blackish, gray color. So various colors can linger, and that's where this device really shines, is because it has the capability to target all of those.
Yeah, which is fabulous, because some of those old iron oxide pigments look very bright. Right?
Pigment has come a long way.
Oh yeah, no more rainbow brows. All right, Nico, go ahead and explain to us why you love the Cutera Enlighten 3. I'm very curious.
Yes, well, gladly. This particular device is the latest and greatest that Cutera has to offer. It is the third generation, so works great. And the reason it works so much better is because it has a dual acoustic selection for getting rid of pigment and ink. So acoustic means that a vibration hits the pigmentation and it breaks it apart, just like an acoustic wave. So it smacks it, essentially, and breaks the particles of pigment and ink into smaller particles. From the time that you get color on you, whether it's a tattoo or whether it's pigmentation from, brows and liner and lips, your body is trying to get rid of that color. So what this does is it breaks it down into smaller particles, so your lymphatic system can grab it and take it away from your body.
Now, I've heard the terms pico and nano. Can you explain those a little bit more and how this machine works with that?
Yes, because dual wavelength means that this machine has both. So you start with typically the nano, depending on how old the pigmentation is, the color of the pigmentation, but that starts with the bigger particles, breaks those down. And then as they get smaller, then we hit it with the pico. So it has dual wavelengths to get all sizes.
Now, I know that laser treatments, like any other skincare treatment, really needs to be separated by some weeks, maybe a month. What is the length of time for this specific machine and why?
Okay, this is probably the hardest thing that people have to deal with, is the amount of time it takes between treatments. And that is because we are acoustically breaking down the pigment and the ink, and your body does have to absorb it, which is a time-consuming process. So in light of that, 8 weeks typically between sessions. But where this device really shines is typically in the past, Most devices have taken, 12, 16 treatments, a long time.
So over a year.
Yeah. So this device is doing it a lot of times in half that time.
Now, I've heard that this Cutera does more than just tattoo removal. What else does it do?
It does. Laser resurfacing. So this gives you an opportunity to take care of some sun damage, retexturize your skin, get rid of scars. You might have small areas on the face, and discoloration, aging, everything that causes aging in the skin. It can pretty much eradicate that and give you new, healthy, bright, youthful skin.
So basically complement all the permanent makeup that I do, right?
Everything.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
All right, so armed with all this information, if you're still unsure if this is the right path for you, definitely set up a consultation with myself or Nico. You can come at us with any questions that you have, look at the link below, and you can set up an appointment with us soon.